Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 3, Episode 19, Through the Looking Glass. In this episode, Cisco has a sexy, violent adventure in the Mirror Universe.
So we have the return of the Mirror Universe, which I didn't think they would do again. But now that they have done it again, I expect to see it more. But anyway, let's talk about this episode. What did you think upon rewatch?
Well, the Mirror Universe episodes, plural, I can now say, are always kind of ridiculous and over the top, which makes for a sort of fun filler.
This is my favorite kind of filler.
Well, yeah, if you're going to have a silly episode about daft stuff, it might as well have explosions and people getting killed. Although, were there any explosions? No, I don't think there were.
Just Cisco's explosive personality.
Oh, yes. Once again, we see Cisco slipping into the role of a psychopath without any hesitation.
None at all. He disappears into this role. Never worries about his chums back in his own universe. Oh, let me just take on this role. Punch Mir Bashir in the face. Sleep with Dax. He's a psychopath.
Sleeps with Kira as well.
All right.
Heavily implied, anyway. It seemed at points almost like he was having fun.
I'd say so. He disappeared into that role so willingly.
As if maybe at the end of the episode he'd say, "Look, Smiley, I've been thinking, you guys need a captain, right?
Why don't I just stay? What could happen?
I can do it part-time. Weekends and Tuesday and Thursday evenings."
I like the reason they came up for why he even stayed. It's not difficult to imagine Cisco would be haunted by his wife's death, and the idea of being able to see her alive and talking, even though it's not really her, it's still going to sound and look like her.
Yeah, that was clever. I think they, when writing this episode, had several candidates for who it was that he was going to rescue, but eventually they chose Jennifer, which is good because she actually has barely appeared. So you kind of see something in Cisco that you haven't really before, or at least you would if he wasn't just shooting everyone.
Yeah.
Fair play to Avery Brooks, though. He was just intense for this whole episode. And he did the look in his eyes when he's trying to improvise through situations. He had it spot on.
Yeah, he really carried this episode. I mean, it was all on him, and he succeeded. I like that he didn't even slip up during the intense moments when there's a tense standoff or they're in the heat of battle. He still calls O'Brien Smiley. He's so devoted to the role.
It's his calling. It's perfectly natural for him. He was actually going John Woo on everyone with double laser pistols.
Yeah.
There was no need for that. He could have handed one of them to someone else.
But it looks so much cooler if he does everything.
Oh yeah, of course he wouldn't hand one off. Double the fun for him.
And again, he looks like he's enjoying himself the whole time when he could very well die during any of these shootouts.
Well, it was really close. They happen to have the same access code in both universes, and that was the only thing that saved his life from a grisly execution. But he didn't seem to mind that much.
It doesn't make much sense that they both shared that code, but I like the idea of Cisco exploiting knowledge from his own universe to give him an advantage. So I gave it a pass. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good resolution. It was clever. It sneaked up on you. And to be honest, you really have to suspend the concept of chaos theory for these mirror universe episodes because the rate at which they diverge is colossal. So
Yeah.
even in the last 2 episodes in the mirror universe, it's drastically different. So it's just odd that there are even any similarities at all. There was a nice use of a character that probably doesn't mean anything to you. The Vulcan in the Rebellion. Don't know if you saw him.
Yeah, the extended screen time he got made me think there's something to this guy. He has more than one throwaway line.
Can you take a guess?
I'm gonna guess he appears on Next Gen or
Ooh.
some other Star Trek
Well,
series.
yeah, it's Star Trek Voyager, which was in its second season. At this point, he's a character from Star Trek Voyager, and it's a good way to link it to Voyager. So yet again, they're reminding you that there are other Star Trek shows.
But they didn't beat you over the head with it. And while I could sense that there was something to this guy, it didn't distract me.
Yeah, that guy actually did appear in Next Gen as well, so you're not really wrong, although he was not as the character of Tuvok. He was used in an episode. I think Picard beats him up. He may have appeared more than once. Just an extra reminder that other Star Trek series exist. In case you forgot.
In case you forgot you're watching Star Trek while watching Star Trek.
Yeah, so when you take a break from Star Trek, you can go watch some other Star Treks that you were previously aware of, but not consciously aware of. No, I'm being cynical. It's just a little world-building thing, I think, more than anything. It's certainly a lot less intrusive than some of the previous next-gen hooks.
I'm not Picard.
I'm not Riker.
I know that stuff is really tempting for the writers to do, but it makes the world, or I guess universe, seem really cramped. Why would these same people show up in these stories? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
The universe, population 155. Don't die because there's not many people left. Here's a topic. Cisco has performed sexual congress on Dax and presumably Kira as well. It's gonna be a bit awkward for him when he goes back to DS9.
Nah, he's a psychopath. He can handle it.
Well, yeah, I guess from that point of view, yeah, probably.
I kept thinking about how he refers to Dax as old man, and then he ends up sleeping with her. We have confirmation that Human and Trill naughty bits align.
They interlock properly.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Sure.
Well, it makes you think, because Cardassians are reptilian, so they, in theory, could have completely different anatomy down there, akin to reptiles on Earth. Do they lay eggs?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, well, I guess that's an episode to look forward to.
I don't know, I'm throwing that out there.
Cardassian females have mammary glands, so what the hell?
In an earlier episode, that one where they're all falling for each other.
Fascination, episode 10?
Right. Dax falls for Cisco, and then Bashir ends up telling Cisco, oh, don't think about it too much, because it's something about latent feelings. I don't remember how it's explained. And then he ends up sleeping with her in this episode.
Yeah, and if you consider how hesitant and kind of squicked by the idea he was in that episode, he just had to power through that in this one. And he did it again without any hesitation.
And he was apparently convincing. She didn't question him.
He gave it 100%.
That's the only percent Cisco knows.
Well, that or 0%.
Yeah.
This is two states. Is complete indifference and intense dedication.
I thought about how insane it is during that scene with Jennifer when he's making this emotional appeal for her to follow him. He's doing that while pretending to be someone else for a cause he doesn't actually care about. Well, not invested in.
Yeah, and he does it well enough that it works. He's supposed to be a Starfleet commander, not an actor.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he would be convincing in alternate roles. I mean, this is not even the first time he's pretended to be another person. He was Gabriel Bell just a few episodes ago, and no one suspected a thing.
Right.
He maybe picked the wrong career.
Maybe he's not actually Cisco, and then he adopted that identity a long time ago.
Oh, as in the real Cisco died, and this up-and-coming thespian slipped into the role.
He's like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, that would explain why he can chameleon into different situations without anyone noticing.
He's never actually been to Starfleet.
That wouldn't surprise me with how dodgy he is with some of the rules.
Yeah.
He's really been shaky on the ethics. Not as bad as Bashir. Who, by the way, okay, here's something that I've noticed about Bashir. Whenever he's in an alternate state, he's always much better looking than default. In past tense, when he had his stubble, he was a bit rugged. He suddenly looks about twice as attractive, at least. And in this one, he had the longer hair, and he had clothes, loose clothes, showing off his frame a bit more. He just suddenly looks pretty handsome.
Yeah, handsome pirate.
But then we get him back in his Starfleet uniform, and he just looks smug.
Starfleet uniforms are so unflattering.
That's true, but it's not even particularly that. It's just his default clean-shaven haircut style. I don't think it really suits him.
No, it suits the character, though.
Yeah, he would never grow a beard.
The Mirror Universe also complimented Rom, well, until he died.
Yes, they do kill a Ferengi in every Mirror Universe episode. Yeah, that was a bit weird how he was gung-ho, sort of brave, doing a double cross, or triple cross, I guess.
It's neat seeing him with confidence and being intimidating.
But do you think it suits his personality?
No, not at all. But
What?
as...
You don't think he's going to be like James Bond, rescuing everyone? Saving the day, lying to figures of authority at gunpoint?
No.
Fair enough. I won't argue with that.
I like seeing it as a one-off. I don't need to see more of it, but we can't because he's dead.
Yeah, they like to kill off a character every time they go to the Mirror Universe, which I guess if they keep going there, means it will run out of mirror characters. I have a few little gripes,
Let's hear him.
or criticisms, if you will. Garrick and the intendant, Kira, argue about how best to motivate the slaves. Garrick says, well, I tried violence. And then Kira says, well, that's not going to work. Let's try violence. And they start executing random dudes. And that is moronic. How is that going to encourage them to work hard? They've obviously never run a business.
They are noobs at slave labor.
Yeah, you want productivity ratings, bonuses, daily targets, that sort of thing. 4. Okay, leading on to the next one. The ore processing often involves pushing minecarts around with rocks in them. That's completely needless. There's no reason why they're not motorized.
Are they doing actual work that needs to be done or being kept busy?
They're doing ore processing. Okay, so the point of Terok Nor during the occupation, which has been hinted at, is that they would strip mine Bajor, send the raw ore up to DS9 for processing, and then send the resultant refined materials out to Cardassia, which is a really stupid way of doing things, taking all of that stuff to space. So basically, it involves them pushing little minecarts around with their bodies. When this, like, what do they do? Just shovel stuff into a thing and then move it and pour it?
Yep. That's all they do.
Okay. I think their problem was they were using slave labor for something that would be trivially done with technology. Another little bit that bugged me is at the end, Kira says, "Give me the new access code and I'll let you go," which, okay, that's just stupid because no one would ever agree to that.
Right.
And then Cisco flips it around, and then eventually they just cut to them having escaped. It didn't actually show you how they resolved that situation.
I don't think they knew how, so they did some editing and hope you didn't think about it too much.
Yeah, that, because I can't see them just saying, "Okay, off you go, please do send us the access code, please."
Yeah.
But why would he even send the access code? Yeah, so I don't know how that got resolved. Did you have any criticisms?
So this is the second time they've used through the looking glass.
Yes, a common expression for a bunch of aliens to use.
It's not even common now.
It's not completely uncommon.
It's sort of obscure.
People would probably know what you're referencing if they were quite well read, even if they didn't understand what the specific meaning was.
Maybe there was a hit movie and it reemerged as a very common phrase.
Well, it was Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland thing.
Yep, that did it.
I have something I would like to praise.
Was it Cisco being taken by the sight of Jennifer?
No, but it does relate to Cisco and Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
When he drops his persona at the end, the camera crosses the axis of action.
Ah, yeah.
You don't normally do that because it changes the layout of the scene. Okay, so I'll just explain. Usually when you're shooting a scene between, say, two people, you want to keep the camera on one side of them, because if you go onto the other side, it looks like they flip round, and it's a bit distracting and kind of breaks the scene.
It's disorienting.
However, they did it deliberately here at the point where he drops his persona to silently show in the minds of the viewers that it was back to the original Cisco with all his psychopathic tendencies bubbling under the surface rather than spouting out.
This show will sometimes handle tiny moments really well with the camera, and this is a great example.
Yeah, it's strange because often they don't do subtle stuff very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did that well. Good job, 10 out of 10.
Good job, guys. And girls. And non-specified.
And shapeshifters.
Oh, no one cares about them.
No, that's clones that no one cares about.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, do you have a quote?
I do. If you need anyone to beat him into submission for you, please don't hesitate to call me.
It's Garrick, isn't it? Showing a little bit of his true colours.
Yes. I haven't picked a silly one in a while. Or obviously silly.
Mirror Garrick always seems a bit bumbling and
Yeah.
ridiculous, which is a shame in a sense. I guess it fits. The mirror characters are supposed to be a reflection of the regular characters.
I have way more fun with Garrick when it seems as if he knows everything and no one can keep up with him.
Well, yeah, because that's really awesome. I guess we will go through the
Glass of looking.
Yeah, no. Now that we have reflected upon this episode, maybe we
Nice.
should bounce our eyes onto the next one.
Yeah.
I should stop doing tenuous title puns at the end of the episode.
No, I like it.
Okay, well, fair enough. You'll have to wait for the next episode to hear the next terrible pun.
All right.